The electromagnetic storms of the Epsilon Eridani system churned with violent intensity. Massive energy discharges painted the void in apocalyptic hues of crimson and electric blue, a fitting backdrop to the most desperate moment in galactic history. Captain Lyra Solarin gripped the command console of the Andromedan flagship Starweaver*, her knuckles white beneath her translucent skin. Holographic displays flickered with the brutal mathematics of impending defeat. The Creel Dominion's warships surrounded her remaining fleet like hungry predators, their obsidian hulls gleaming with decades of conquest. 17 star systems had already fallen, millions of lives reduced to scattered memories and burning debris. The Andromedan Confederation, once a proud civilization spanning hundreds of worlds, was now nothing more than a wounded animal cornered by relentless hunters. Incoming bombardment. Lieutenant Caravan's voice cracked with a mixture of terror and exhaustion. Her fingers danced across multiple communication channels, desperately coordinating the remnants of their defensive formations. Solarin knew the truth. They were finished. The Creel fleet moved with cold, calculated precision. Each warship was a monument to technological superiority, weapons capable of turning entire planetary surfaces into molten glass. Their commander, High Strategist Zarek, had been methodically dismantling the Andromedan resistance for what seemed like an eternity. Final defensive protocol. Solarin commanded, her voice a whisper of resigned determination. Around her, the bridge crew moved with the mechanical precision of those who have already accepted their fate. Damage control teams prepared emergency evacuation protocols. Navigation systems calculated the most efficient retreat paths, not that any would matter in moments. Massive energy signatures began charging along the Creel battle line. Each weapon represented enough destructive potential to obliterate an entire continent. The Starweaver*, and its accompanying ships were about to become nothing more than a statistical footnote in the Creel's galactic conquest records. Then something impossible happened. Space itself seemed to ripple. Not the familiar quantum distortions of faster-than-light travel, but something entirely different. A quantum slipstream tore open behind the Creel fleet, a wound in the fabric of reality that should not exist. Senior sensor technician Drelmarek blinked repeatedly, checking his instrumentation. His three-fingered hands moved with increasing urgency across the holographic displays. "Captain," he stammered, "I'm detecting an anomalous energy signature. It doesn't match any known configuration in our databases." A single ship emerged from the dimensional tear, sleek, predatory, its whole configuration defying every known principle of spacecraft design. No transponder signals, no standard communication frequencies, just pure, raw potential materialized from nothingness. The U.S. Defiance had arrived. In that moment, everything changed. 12 hours earlier, in the most secure research facility of humanity's solar defense network, the Defiance represented more than just a warship. It was the culmination of humanity's most audacious scientific dream. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before the massive holographic display, her fingers tracing the ship's intricate design. Every component challenged the fundamental understanding of physics, engineering, and technological possibility. Behind her, a team of the world's most brilliant minds worked in near-religious silence. "We've done the impossible," she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. The facility, buried deep beneath the Atacama Desert, was a testament to human ingenuity. Layers of quantum-dampening fields and holographic camouflage made it invisible to any known scanning technology. Here, away from political bureaucracies and international tensions, humanity's most radical scientific minds had been working on a project that would redefine galactic understanding. Captain Marcus Holloway reviewed the final mission briefing. Unlike traditional military commanders, he was as much a scientist as a warrior. His background was a unique blend, doctorate in quantum mechanics, advanced tactical training, and a mind that saw potential where others saw limitations. The Defiance was more than a weapon. It was a statement. Creel intelligence reports, intercepted and meticulously analyzed, painted humans as a fractured primitive species, multiple governments, endless conflicts, limited space exploration, a civilization deemed too chaotic to be a serious galactic contender. Those reports were about to become spectacularly wrong. Each system on the Defiance broke conventional engineering principles. The quantum adaptive shield generator, developed by Dr. Rodriguez's team, could literally transform incoming energy attacks into defensive capabilities. The propulsion system manipulated space-time itself, making traditional faster-than-light travel look like children's technology. Final systems check. Holloway's voice cut through the research facility's controlled environment. Engineers and scientists moved with precision. Every connection, every calibration represented years of secret research, countless failed prototypes, and an unwavering belief that humanity could do more than anyone imagined. The ship's artificial intelligence, nicknamed ARI, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Algorithm, wasn't just a computer system. It was a quantum neural network that could process combat scenarios faster than any known galactic technology. ARI could analyze millions of potential outcomes in microseconds, adapting strategies with a flexibility that defied traditional computational limits. Quantum slipstream drive is stable, reported Dr. James Chen, the lead propulsion engineer. His hands moved across holographic interfaces, each gesture a dance of mathematical precision. Holloway knew the stakes. This wasn't just a military mission. It was humanity's first true test on the galactic stage. Years of being overlooked, considered irrelevant, were about to be answered in the most dramatic way possible. "Prepare for quantum translation," he commanded. The Defiance began to hum, not with the mechanical vibration of traditional engines, but with a resonance that seemed to exist between reality and possibility. Energy systems aligned. Quantum fields stabilized. Humanity was about to make its presence known. Time fractured into microscopic moments of impossible decision. Captain Marcus Holloway's hands moved with surgical precision across the Defiance's control interfaces. Each touch was a quantum calculation, every movement a complex algorithm of tactical potential. The ship's artificial intelligence, ARI, projected multiple combat scenarios in real time, her holographic representation flickering with pure mathematical intensity. "Tactical assessment," Holloway commanded, his voice calm against the backdrop of impending chaos. Aria's crystalline form shimmered. Creel fleet composition: 247 active warships. Andromedan survivors: 12 operational vessels. Probability of survival without intervention: 0.37%. The electromagnetic storms of Epsilon Eridani crackled around the Defiance, creating a light show that would have been beautiful if not for the apocalyptic stakes. Sensor arrays detected the massive energy buildup of the Creel's primary weapon systems, each capable of turning entire planetary surfaces into molten glass. "They haven't seen us coming," Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen muttered, her fingers dancing across secondary control systems. The first Creel volley launched. Massive energy beams that had already decimated entire civilizations streaked toward the remaining Andromedan ships. Each beam represented decades of technological refinement, the pinnacle of destructive potential in known galactic warfare. Aria's voice remained perfectly modulated, intercepting primary attack vectors. Quantum adaptive response initiating. What happened next defied every known principle of space combat. The Defiance didn't just block the incoming energy, it consumed it. Quantum shield generators absorbed the massive attack, breaking down each energy signature into its fundamental components. For a fraction of a second, the laws of physics seemed to bend, then rewrite themselves. The redirected energy exploded back into the Creel formation. Entire squadrons disappeared in cascading quantum reactions. Ships that had been instruments of galactic domination became nothing more than expanding clouds of superheated plasma. "This ends now," Holloway said, a statement more than a command. On the Andromedan flagship Starweaver, Captain Lyra Solarin watched in absolute astonishment. The holographic displays on her bridge showed something impossible. a single human ship dismantling the most advanced military force in known space with terrifying efficiency. Araya continued her tactical narration. Creel fleet disruption at 67.3%. Secondary weapon systems compromised. Quantum entanglement of enemy communication networks initiated. It wasn't just a battle. It was a complete redefinition of space warfare. Lieutenant Chen let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. They never saw us coming. Holloway's eyes remained fixed on the tactical display. Each movement of the Defiance was a statement. Humanity was no longer going to be ignored, no longer going to be considered a minor species in the grand galactic narrative. The universe was about to learn a fundamental lesson about human potential. The Defiance moved like a living weapon, each moment a complex dance of technological impossibility. Inside the ship's primary control center, holographic displays painted the battlefield in layers of quantum probability. Captain Holloway watched as ARIA transformed the chaos of combat into a living mathematical equation. Each enemy weapon signature became a variable, each potential attack a problem to be solved before it could even be conceived. Adaptive response protocol, Holloway muttered, more to himself than to the bridge crew. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chin tracked the ship's internal systems. The quantum adaptive shield generators weren't just defending, they were learning. With each incoming attack, the Defiance analyzed, absorbed, and transformed hostile energy into something entirely new. Creel weapon signatures that had obliterated countless civilizations became nothing more than raw energy to be redirected. Araya's holographic representation flickered with intense computational activity, analyzing Creel weapon harmonics. Quantum entanglement of enemy communication networks at 73.6%. Predictive combat modeling shows complete fleet disintegration within 17.3 minutes. The ship's weapons were nothing like traditional space combat systems. Instead of simple energy projection, the Defiance manipulated quantum fields themselves. Each discharge was a precise mathematical statement, a way of rewriting the fundamental rules of engagement. On the Starweaver, Captain Lyra Solarin watched in stunned amazement. Her Andromedan sensor teams struggled to comprehend what they were witnessing. The human ship didn't just fight. It existed on an entirely different plane of technological understanding. Energy redirection at 92% efficiency, Araya reported, her voice a perfect blend of computational precision and something almost resembling excitement. Entire Creel battle groups found themselves fighting against their own technologies. Weapon systems turned inward, communication networks collapsed, and tactical formations dissolved into chaos. The Defiance wasn't just defeating the enemy. It was teaching a brutal lesson about the nature of technological superiority. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, watching from the remote monitoring station deep beneath the Atacama Desert, allowed herself a small smile. Years of secret research, countless failed prototypes, and an unwavering belief in human potential had culminated in this moment. They said it was impossible, she whispered to the empty monitoring room. The quantum adaptive systems continued their impossible dance. Incoming energy attacks became defensive capabilities. Weapon signatures were broken down, analyzed, and transformed faster than light could travel. The Defiance moved through the battlefield like a quantum phantom, existing simultaneously in multiple potential states. Lieutenant Chen's hands moved across the control interfaces, her movements almost a dance with the ship's artificial intelligence. Quantum synchronization at maximum efficiency, she reported. Holloway watched the tactical display, seeing beyond the immediate conflict. This was more than a battle. This was humanity's first true declaration to the galaxy, a statement that they were no longer to be overlooked or underestimated. The Defiance continued its impossible symphony of destruction, rewriting the fundamental understanding of space warfare with each passing moment. The Creel Dominion had conquered hundreds of civilizations. Their military doctrine was a machine of mathematical precision, refined over millennia of galactic subjugation. They understood hierarchy. They comprehended established combat protocols. They believed in the absolute predictability of warfare. They had never encountered human creativity. Captain Marcus Holloway was not a traditional military commander. His mind worked like a living algorithm, seeing potential where others saw limitations. Each movement of the Defiance was a living, breathing strategy that rewrote combat in real time. ARIA, he called, Analyze Complete Historical Combat Database, cross-reference with quantum probability models. The ship's artificial intelligence materialized, a crystalline hologram that pulsed with computational energy. Initiating comprehensive tactical synthesis, she responded, her voice a perfect blend of mathematical precision and something almost resembling excitement. What happened next defied every known principle of space combat. The Defiance didn't just fight. It danced. Weapon systems became extensions of pure imagination. Where traditional military strategists would see a straight line, Holloway saw a multidimensional chessboard with infinite possibilities. Creel battle groups found themselves fighting against an enemy that didn't just anticipate their moves. It rewrote the very concept of movement. Energy weapons became misdirection. Defensive formations transformed into offensive opportunities. The ship moved like a living thought, existing simultaneously in multiple tactical potentials. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen tracked the impossible calculations. The ship's systems were learning faster than any known computational model. Each microsecond brought new tactical innovations that would take most species generations to conceptualize. Quantum adaptive response at 98.7% efficiency, ARIA reported, her holographic form flickering with intense computational activity. On the Creel command ships, senior strategists watched in growing horror. Their most advanced predictive models collapsed like fragile mathematical constructions. The human ship didn't just break their understanding of warfare, it obliterated it. High strategist Zarek, commander of the Creel assault fleet, found himself experiencing something unprecedented, genuine fear. Decades of galactic conquest had never prepared him for an enemy that refused to follow any known rules of engagement. Tactical anomaly. His senior communication officer stammered, "The human vessel is adapting faster than our predictive models can calculate." Holloway understood something fundamental that the Creel had forgotten. War was not about overwhelming force. It was about imagination, about seeing potential where others saw only limitations. The Defiance continued its impossible dance across the battlefield. Each movement was a statement, each tactical decision a revolution. Humanity was no longer going to be ignored. Aria's voice cut through the chaos. Probability of Creel fleet total destruction, 99.8% and climbing. The universe was about to learn a fundamental lesson about human potential. Creativity was the most powerful weapon of all. News traveled faster than light. The quantum communication networks of 1,000 civilizations erupted with impossible footage. A single human ship, previously considered irrelevant, had just dismantled the most feared military force in galactic history. On the crystalline communication hub of the Centauri Cooperative, senior diplomats watched the battle recordings in stunned silence. Senior analyst Krelax, a being with 6 eyes and centuries of diplomatic experience, leaned forward. "Enhance imaging," he commanded. The holographic display zoomed into the Defiance. Every movement was a testament to technological innovation that defied comprehension. Weapon systems that transformed energy, shields that absorbed and redirected entire weapon arsenals. A level of technological integration that made the most advanced known civilizations look like children playing with primitive tools. "Impossible," muttered Ambassador Lyra Tisson of the Andromedan Confederation, her tentacle-like appendages trembling with a mixture of excitement and terror. They'd been hiding this level of technology. Communication channels across multiple star systems began to light up. The Creel Dominion's communication networks collapsed under the weight of the unprecedented defeat. Entire battle groups found themselves suddenly disconnected, their command structures in complete disarray. High strategist Zarek's emergency transmission became a moment of galactic legend. Unidentified human vessel, his voice crackled with a mixture of rage and disbelief. "You have violated." The transmission cut off mid-sentence. On Earth, in the most secure research facility beneath the Atacama Desert, Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched the Galactic response with a mixture of pride and scientific curiosity. Years of secret research, countless nights of development, had culminated in this moment. "They're watching now," she whispered to herself. The quantum communication networks began to buzz with speculation. Who were these humans? Where did this technology come from? How could a species previously considered technological infants produce something so far beyond current understanding? Diplomatic channels that had been static for decades suddenly came alive. The Centauri Cooperative, long neutral observers of galactic conflicts, began emergency sessions. The Andromedan Confederation, moments away from total extinction, found new hope. Araya, the Defiance's artificial intelligence, began analyzing the cascade of communication data. Galactic information networks showing unprecedented levels of activity, she reported to Captain Holloway. Multiple civilizations requesting diplomatic contact with Earth. Holloway's response was calm, measured. "We're not here to conquer. We're here to restore balance." But the message was clear. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same again. The universe held its collective breath. A new era was beginning. The Creel Dominion did not know how to accept defeat. High Strategist Zarik's command ship, the Eternal Subjugation, represented the pinnacle of galactic military technology. Kilometers of weaponized metal and quantum-forged systems designed to break civilizations with a single volley. Now it became a vessel of pure desperation. "Activate the Omega Protocol," Zarik commanded, his voice a mixture of rage and terror. The Omega Protocol was the Creel's most closely guarded secret, a last-resort weapon that had been used only twice in their 1,000-year history of galactic conquest. Entire star systems had been erased from existence with its deployment. Massive energy collectors began charging along the Eternal Subjugation's primary weapon systems. Quantum capacitors drew power from multiple collapsed star cores, creating an energy buildup that defied conventional physics. If successful, the weapon would not just destroy the Defiance asterisk, it would create a cascading quantum disruption that would obliterate everything within 5 light-years. On the Defiance, Araya's holographic form flickered with intense computational activity. Detecting unprecedented energy signature, she reported to Captain Holloway. Weapon configuration matches theoretical models of total quantum annihilation. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen's hands moved across the control interfaces with surgical precision. "Quantum adaptive shields at maximum capacity," she responded, her voice calm despite the imminent threat. The battlefield transformed. Where moments before the Creel fleet had been a picture of technological dominance, now they became a single desperate organism. Every remaining ship redirected its energy. Every system focused on supporting the Eternal Subjugation asterisk's final attack. Zarik watched the charging weapon with a mixture of hope and madness. "If we cannot win," he muttered to his bridge crew, "then nothing will survive." Captain Holloway understood the stakes immediately. This was more than a battle. This was a test of humanity's most fundamental capabilities. A challenge that would determine whether their species would be remembered as a footnote or a turning point in galactic history. "Araya," he called, "begin quantum resonance countermeasures." The Defiance began to change. Its hull seemed to ripple, existing simultaneously in multiple quantum states. Where traditional defensive systems would prepare for impact, this ship began to fundamentally rewrite the laws of physics around it. The Andromedan flagship Starweaver and its remaining fleet watched in absolute terror. Captain Lyra Solarin knew they were witnessing something beyond traditional warfare. This was a confrontation that would be studied for generations. "Weapon discharge imminent," Araya reported, her computational voice maintaining perfect calm. The universe seemed to hold its breath. One moment would determine everything. Silence consumed the battlefield. The Eternal Subjugation's ultimate weapon hung in space, like a frozen moment of absolute potential. Quantum energy beyond comprehension charged toward the Defiance asterisk, a wave of destruction that should have erased everything in its path. Should have. Captain Marcus Holloway watched the incoming attack with absolute calm. "Area," he said softly. "Show them what humanity truly means." The Defiance did something impossible. It didn't just defend. It transformed. The quantum weapon's energy began to change, not absorbed, not redirected, fundamentally reimagined. The massive destructive potential began to break down, its fundamental components reassembled into something entirely new. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen's hands moved across the control interfaces, her movements a dance of mathematical precision. "Quantum reconstruction at 97.3%, she reported, her voice a mixture of scientific wonder and pure excitement. On the Creel command ship, High Strategist Zarek watched in absolute horror. His most devastating weapon was becoming something else entirely. The energy it was meant to destroy was being transformed into a beacon of creation. Captain Lyra Solarin of the Andromedan flagship Starweaver found herself whispering a prayer to technologies she could barely comprehend. The human ship was rewriting the fundamental understanding of physics, of warfare, of possibility itself. The weapon's energy began to spread, not as destruction, but as pure potential. Quantum strings realigned, molecular structures reformed. Where there should have been annihilation, there was instead a moment of absolute creation. Araya's holographic form pulsed with computational brilliance. "Weapon energy successfully transformed," she reported, generating quantum restoration field. Entire sections of damaged Andromedan ships began to repair themselves. Quantum-level damage reversed. Systems that should have been destroyed found themselves not just restored, but improved. Zarek's communication systems crackled to life. A transmission from the Defiance cut through the chaos. Captain Holloway's voice was calm, measured. "We are not here to conquer," he said. "We are here to restore balance." The Creel Dominion's military structure collapsed, not through violence, through the absolute demonstration of a technological and philosophical approach they could not comprehend. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, watching from the remote monitoring station, allowed herself a small smile. Years of research, countless nights of development, a fundamental belief in human potential had culminated in this moment. The galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had arrived, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as something entirely new. A civilization that could turn destruction into possibility.